Women Today, brought to you by citywing.com for your next flight away.
Hello and welcome to the Women Today podcast. This week we talk to people gearing up for one of the biggest community events in the Isle of Man, the Parish Walk. We were serenaded live on air for the very first time, and a scientist got himself into trouble.
Let me tell you about my trouble with girls. 3 things happen when they are in the lab. You fall in love with them, they fall in love with you, and when you criticise them, they cry.
Those were the words of Sir Tim Hunt, the British Nobel Prize-winning scientist who seems to think female scientists disrupt laboratories because they're too emotional and sexual. He told the World Conference of Science Journalists in South Korea he was in favour of single-sex labs but doesn't want to stand in the way of women. Well, he has since apologised, telling BBC Radio 4 he was really sorry I caused any offence and that he was just trying to be honest about his experience with emotional entanglements. Well, now the scientist has been forced to resign from his post at University College London and the European Research Council. And over the weekend, he's been telling The Observer that he's been hung out to dry, with his wife, Professor Mary Collins, adding, "It was an unbelievably stupid thing to say. You can see why it would be taken as offensive if you didn't know Tim, but really it was just part of his upbringing. He went to a single-sex school in the 1960s. Nevertheless, he is not sexist. I am a feminist, and I would not have put up with him if he were sexist." So we're asking this afternoon what you think. Was it fair to force his resignation even, well, I wouldn't do very well, in light of his speech? You can text 166 177 or email us womentoday at manxradio.com, go to Facebook or Twitter, or you can also comment there. Kate, what was your first reaction to what Sir Tim Hunt said?
I just think it's just such a stupid thing to say, and I just felt kind of resigned to it. It just struck me as a really foolish thing to say.
I mean, he's claimed it was supposed to be a humorous aside. Is the problem that we just can't take a joke then?
I think that is the most annoying thing that's ever said when something like this is said, isn't it? You just can't take a joke. My whole thing about jokes is it's only a joke if it's funny. I don't think what he said was particularly funny.
Howard?
No, I don't think it's particularly funny. I can't really see that there's much of a joke in it. Having said that, should he lose his job? No, I think... Lord knows we've all said stupid things in our time. I don't think any of us in this room would or studio would put our hands up and say we've never said something stupid which we live to regret. But if he, as he did, came straight out and issued a fulsome apology and said, look, sorry, I really didn't mean it in that way, whether it's a rubbish joke or not. If you apologise, retract it and say, I don't really stand by those words, I regret saying them now. Should he lose his job? I don't really believe he should have lost his job over it.
But he said it in a room full of journalists.
He did. Oh, I think so. He must have known. He's a very intelligent man, clearly. So it was a mind-numbingly stupid thing to say. But I stand by the word. We all do stupid things, even the brightest of us sometimes.
But then if somebody as established as Sir Tim Hunt can make those sort of comments, whether careless or intended, you've got to wonder then what hope female scientists have of being accepted.
There's no reason why female scientists... I heard Monica Grady, who was on Indeed Radio 4 again this morning, talking about the Philae probe. She was talking about the Tim Hunt debacle, and in a way, she and herself were just laughing it off, saying that was a stupid thing to say. And I think she didn't really believe he should lose his job. She said, obviously I wouldn't stand by it. I can't imagine what made him say it, and I cringed about it. And they actually had some fun with that as well. She sort of took it very much in her stride and said, look, I'm a female scientist. She's one of the top planetary scientists, certainly in the UK, if not the world, very successful, and she just says it's rubbish, really. We should just forget about it.
But doesn't it mean it's another hurdle that we as women have to overcome, that every time someone says, oh, you're too emotional, we have to work that little bit harder to prove that we're not going to just, crumble under the pressure and break down into tears. And I just think it's unfair that we're constantly having these hurdles put in front of us to prove that an ill-thought-through joke is not true.
I think, yes. I mean, I take your point. It's something that shouldn't be put as an added difficulty. But equally, if you just take it as what it is, a stupid comment, then it should just be brushed aside and ignored, because frankly, at the end of the day, it wasn't worth, assuming he did write it down on paper and didn't say it off his cuff, it wasn't worth the cuff or the paper it was written on.
I think most people wouldn't have particular malice for the man, but maybe the people who are so angry about it do for sexism. And really, here he's been caught out.
Yeah, but again, it was him who said it. He did say these things, and he was a fool for saying that. And I don't think by constantly going to the papers and the radio and saying more things to try and defend himself, he's doing himself any favours at all.
Matt, Alison, any thoughts?
It's an intensely stupid thing to do, particularly in front of the international scientific community. I don't know whether it is representative of a wider attitude towards female scientists. I hope not. I don't think he should have lost his job, and I think there's an element of trial by social media, as there is with so many things. People jump on the bandwagon on Twitter and like to be outraged, but hold on. But I think it's terribly sad that he's said these things, and that it wasn't funny. I don't believe it was a joke. I think he's backpedaling hugely.
Sorry, I was going to interrupt you, Matt. I'm very
That's
sorry.
okay.
But I just think it's really difficult when people start talking about trial by social media, or, there's been a lot of articles over the weekend talking about feminist bullies taking to Twitter. And I think the problem is that we have to remember that Twitter itself doesn't force people to resign, and maybe more of the responsibility needs to put then with the University College London and the other places that have forced him to resign, rather than people who were, in my opinion, quite rightly outraged.
I agree. I think people who have very little knowledge on the subject like to be outraged by anything, and we'll just jump on and sort of join in with that. But I agree with what you're saying. But I still don't think he should have lost his job.
I just think it's really interesting when we think, what if he'd said Asian people or Jewish people or gay people? There would be far more outrage because of that. So I think we kind of sometimes get those arguments that it was just a joke because it was women.
Well, this weekend, more than 1,000 people will set out on an 85-mile walk across the island. We are, of course, talking about the Parish Walk. But only one person has ever done it twice in one go, and she is Bethany de Lee Runciman. That was 7 years ago when she set out on her mission, and Kate's been finding out what the experience was like. But first, let's hear from former competitor and enthusiast Maureen Lambden, speaking back in 2008.
In the early days, it wasn't even considered suitable for the women to compete over the whole distance. They were encouraged to stop at Peel. In 1963, a couple of women went round for the first time, but up to 1980, there were only 4 women who'd ever completed the course. And even between 1983 and 1989, there were no women at all completed the course. Since 1998, the number of women finishing has grown considerably. Last year there were 5 women in the first 14, which is probably unprecedented in a long-distance athletic event.
I think what people will know you for, really, Bethany, is doing the Parish Walk twice.
Yes.
How on earth did that come about?
Well, the Parish Walk, the double Parish Walk as it's known, I did that in 2008, so it's actually 7 years ago. My Parish Walk journey started in 2002. I walked down to Rushen with my aunt. I hated it. My left hip hurt, and I thought, I'm never doing this again. However, 2 years later, I walked to Peel, and my mother walked with me to Rushen and then supported me over to Peel. And it was after then that she said to me, I'm not getting any younger and I'd like to do the whole way round. Would you do it with me? And in 2005, we actually finished mother and daughter in 23 hours. And I know my mum was quite sick towards the end, so it's a real credit to her that she got round. Anyway, in 2006, I decided to do it all over again by myself.
Why again?
I think the Parish Walk does have a bit of a hold on you. You always think you can do it better, faster, it'd be easier. And in 2006, I did it in 22 and a half hours and was very pleased with that. However, when I was asking for sponsor money for the 2006 Parish Walk, one of my friends said, oh, I'll sponsor you £10 per lap. And we all laughed and, oh, come off it, you can't do 2 laps of the Parish Walk. But a seed had been planted in my brain, and this little seed grew and grew, and I talked it over with some very close friends, and I'd been reading some books as well about some very long distance runners, and what inspired me was an American lady called Pam Reed, who actually has finished the Badwater Ultra Marathon. Twice she's done it, and she's beaten not only all the women, but she's beaten all the men as well. I was sort of trying to analyse how could she do it, and there is a theory that women, because we go through the process of childbirth, although I haven't and won't, we do have this inner physical strength that maybe men don't have.
Adrian Cowan has put a very promising weather forecast on for Saturday. So it looks like it's going to be a reasonably good day, reasonably cool, perhaps a hint of a shower later on Saturday evening. But for race walking, I would say ideal weather.
So in 2007, I started training for a 170-mile parish walk. I learned very quickly there was no way I was even going to be able to attempt to do even half the distance, because 85 miles is incredibly long anyway. So I had to use the hills on the island. We are blessed with lots and lots of hills, and walk up very quickly lots of hills. And I often got the bus down to Port Erin and walked as fast as I could over to Peel, and that incurs Ballykalawi and the Slough. But there's one thing else, and this is, I think, where a lot of people don't even think of. It's mental training, and certainly for my Dole Parish walk, half of it was just done by mental training. Every time I walked down that prom, past that war memorial, I finished, I imagined it, pictured it in my brain so well. Fireworks, brass bands, music, people coming, just the most wonderful thing in the world. And I tried to do that with every church I went past, and thinking at night time, and sort of thinking, if I'm struggling past Kirkmichael, what should I do, what should I think? I also thought about affirmations, which are things like, I can do this. It's a simple one.
It's all that kind of positive mental attitude type stuff, isn't it? Yeah,
it is, very much so. I actually had around my neck, when I was doing it, a little piece of paper that had some of these on, but unfortunately it rained so much it got rather wet, so that was one use.
You end up with your affirmations inked onto you.
Yes, yeah. I'd aim to raise £500, and I mean it's on. I don't know. Somebody suggested 3,000. It could even be more than that. It's been absolutely terrific. Thank you so much to everybody who has helped me, Manx Radio in particular, and it's been an amazing weekend. It's just been a dream come true. And I lay down the challenge: can anyone do 2 laps faster than 47 hours 22 minutes?
I mean, 170 miles, I would think I'd get to the end of that and just think, I'm never doing anything like this again. It was horrific, awful. But you seem to look back on it with such fond memories.
Well, you forget pain. I must admit, somehow our minds always do forget pain, and this is why people continually do things.
Are you still walking? Are you
no,
still
I'm
competing?
not. No, I have bunions, which my talents are now really in with poetry, art and music. I'm a percussion player with the Douglastown Band, which I absolutely love, and I'm chairman of the Alaman Poetry Society, organising poetry trails. I am extremely busy doing other things.
Well, the parish walk is coming up incredibly soon. Will you be out cheering people on?
Yes, I've been cheering on actually the finishers. Good to see the finishers, but what makes the parish is just the ordinary people who through grit and determination, I mean, seeing the last ones finish, so they're finishing just before 24 hours, and you know the amount of work and pain they've had to go through to get to the finish, it just always brings tears to my eyes.
Female armpit hair is having its moment. From Miley Cyrus to Madonna, women are putting down the razor and sharing online. Some are even dyeing the armpit hair. When actress Christina Ricci appeared on the Graham Norton Show a few years ago, this is what happened.
I'm doing a Victorian movie right now. It takes place in, 1890 something, and I have to do nudity in it. And apparently, at that time, there was no armpit hair shaving, so can't raise my hands above my head.
How long has it been growing now?
Since January 16th.
Whoa!
Easy!
Have you braided it Bo Derek style and tucked it in or something?
Well, you've got a sleeve on.
I know, but still.
It pops out.
If I was raised my hand.
Can't you train it like Ivy to go to sort of go down the dress, like long?
I could slick it down.
Slick it well, or just train it.
When's the big day? When's the big day when you can kindly get rid of it?
Not until the very end of the shoot. the last
but
week of
hold on,
the
though.
shoot.
Why couldn't they just give you a little underarm wig? What is this thing when we're watching a Victorian film and going, where's the underarm hair? Boo! Let's see some underarm hair. You can CGI it. You can walk around like a normal tall person, they can put big tufts of hair on you. Why are you growing your underarm hair to be in a Victorian film? I've never thought of that. Why haven't you got hairy legs then?
I don't know. I don't make the rules.
They made the rules up. They just wanted to see if they could make you grow underarm hair.
Well, that's what happened when Christina Ricci, the actress, appeared on the Graham Norton show a few years ago talking about her underarm hair. I'm going to have to ask you all girls, do you, Kate?
I'm clean-shaven armpit, thank you very much, Beth.
Would you ever go au naturel?
I really, really struggle with it. I really want to be able to say, yeah, of course, why not? Why should I have to do that? And every feminist bone in my body thinks I should just be au naturel, but then every 24-year-old Isle of Man girl goes, yeah, I'm going to keep shaving my armpits. There's something so weird about it, and I don't know why.
Mary, we've already talked about your swimming. I mean, obviously, swimming costume. Have you ever, forgotten to shave?
No, we're swimmers. We shave down. Anything that slows me down in the pool, which hair does, wouldn't be good. So no, I definitely shave. I think it's personal choice, but no, I'm hairless.
It is. It's really weird, isn't it? Because it just generates such reactions in people, Sarah. I mean, you were listening to Christina Ricci there, just wincing.
I know. Yes, horrible. No, shave every day.
But why is it? What is it that we think is so disgusting about it?
It's the image of it not being feminine, I guess.
I don't know if I find it's disgusting. I just think it is personal choice, as I say, and I know a lot of the European women don't shave. I think the people that have done it this time tend to be like to court controversy, which is the reason they're doing it rather than a stand for not shaving. Personally, I think if we went out and we lifted our arms to pick something, people would just react in a way. Maybe that's what we're afraid of. Everyone kind of go, ooh, that's not good,
So then are we doing it for other people?
Yes.
We're not doing it for ourselves, are we? We are doing it for other people.
Yeah, no, you're right. Peer pressure, and even at all ages, maybe that's why we do it. It's probably habit as well. People are quite used to seeing a shaved armpit in a Manx lady or Europeans. It tends to be whatever nationality, but it is, it's personal choice.
Just think about all that time we could save, though. Just think, in the shower, how much time you'd have if you added it up.
Yeah. It is really interesting, isn't it, is that we talk, again, very often about the fact that if we see stars doing something, then people are inclined to follow. Now, I remember that photograph of Julia Roberts a number of years ago where she was at an award ceremony. She lifted her arm up to wave, and there, all the hair on display. I can't say it made me feel inclined to follow that. And people we've spoken to, certainly around Manx Radio, don't seem inclined to let it all go.
Is that just the men? Of the women. The thing is, I think you create a PR story. Working in PR, I think that's partly why they do it. You're going to be front page of the paper if Julia Roberts raises her arm. So her publicist is saying, just go for it. You can shave afterwards.
But that's all anyone remembers her for now. Well, that's certainly what I think as soon as I think of her. But it leads us on to thinking, I guess, if there was a bit of your beauty regime that you could just give up and do without, what would it be? I think for me, I would give up plucking my eyebrows. I would save hours.
I'm with you. I think it'd be amazing just to never have to bother with that. Shaving your legs, that's another one. That is so much time spent doing that, and you always miss a bit anyway, so just give it up altogether.
Mary?
I think my main thing, actually, I've been thinking about since we talked about it, it's not beauty taboo, but I'd love to go to work in my slippers and my PJs one day, but I don't think I'd be photographed well, so I probably couldn't do that one. I quite like looking good. I like my hair right, and I like everything kind of nice, and I like wearing lippy, so I don't think I'd give up them, but definitely someday having a dress down day where you actually could wear your onesie to work would be brilliant. I'd love that. In fact, that's probably a fundraiser. We could market that.
Oh, you see, you never ever stop.
I never stop.
Never stop. Sarah, any thoughts?
Shaving, yes, because it is time consuming, but I do wash my hair every day. I'm just a fanatic about that. Just have to blow dry it, wash it. So that, again, I wish I could have to do that. It would save so much time if I didn't do that every day.
Well, apparently, if you stop washing it, it'll just wash itself. So, just give it up today and you'll save loads of time.
Well, we asked on the Women's Day Facebook page what people think of this latest women's trend of hairy armpits, and we had quite a few responses, and pretty much all saying it's horrid. Georgia says, I think the strangest thing, though, about the pictures is the juxtaposition of natural armpit hair and the very definitely unnatural eyebrows. Stu Peters says, horrid. Graham, well, perhaps it's a matter of opinion, but at least it's something to comb if the conversation dries up. Kath says, no, smelly. Elaine, very definitely not. Carol, no, never, it's horrible. And finally, Phil says, fungus at its best.
Now, tomorrow, there's something pretty exciting happening on the island. Here's just a little clue.
The long and winding road.
But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more.
Just walking in the rain. Come on and walk with me. Oh, baby, talk to me. Walk this way. Talk this way. Walk like an Egyptian.
These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Any ideas?
Oh, I've no idea.
Clueless.
Not at all.
No. Well, it is Parish Walk weekend, and once again, more than 1,000 pair of legs will be on the start line, but how many will go the distance? It is one of the best community events the Isle of Man has to offer, but to get the full 85 miles round takes much more than physical fitness. It also requires mental stamina and the encouragement of those in the support car. Well, our guests this afternoon know that process very well, and tomorrow they're going back for more. Jock Waddington is the only person to have won the parish in 4 consecutive years, and his wife Terry has yet to finish it, has been in it a couple of times, but really hopes this will be her year. First, Jock, why wasn't one win enough?
I don't know. It becomes quite addictive after a while. And anybody who's even the slightest modicum of competitiveness wants to beat their own time, regardless of what anyone else is doing. So I suppose once you've done it once, nothing can sort of beat that first finish, the feeling that you get when you cross the line. But after a month or two, you think, yes, I could do that again quite happily. And you do, and you just want to beat your own time. So people come back year after year after year. A good example of that would be David Collister, who unfortunately didn't finish last year, but prior to that he'd got 32, I think, consecutive finishes, a phenomenal record, which I think is fairly safe for some time. But yeah, people do come back again and again and again.
So tell me why you entered your first race.
Oh, it was back in 2004. It was to raise money in memory of a friend who had quite recently passed away. I was asked by a mutual friend if I would join him in walking the parish, or having a go at walking the parish walk, just to raise funds for charity, and that's how the whole thing started. Prior to that, I had no sporting prowess at all. I used to walk to the pub, but that was about it. So yeah, that's what lit the flame, if you like. That's what got me going. And I suppose everybody's got maybe a similar story. Something must start people doing this crazy event year after year. Well, first of all, but that's how I got into it.
Well, Terry, we've heard that you have been in the parish a couple of times. It's fair to say you've had pretty miserable experiences, although the first time you got to Andreas, which is a massive achievement to do that far.
Yeah, 55.5 miles. I was absolutely thrilled to bits. Gutted I didn't finish all the way, but, sort of like sickness got the better of me, so.
I have to ask, are you only doing it because Jock has?
No, right. It's one of those things. It's so many friends have done it, and it's a case of it's the way they look after. And it's a case of sort of like, and talking to a friend just on the prom on Tuesday, we did our last training walk, and she just welled up telling me about, how I was going to feel getting to the war memorial at the end, and it was like, I have to do it. So no, it's really good. It's a good thing to do.
Now I wonder how much of your life is spent training, particularly when both of you are doing it.
A lot. It's sort of like the 3 days a week is what I've been going out at, and it's a case of sort of like of an evening after work, and then a longer session on a Saturday or Sunday, so I can get the miles in. So it takes me longer because I'm much slower than Jock. So when I go out for a 20-mile walk, that's half the day. So I go out in the morning, I'm not back till 1. So it does take a lot of time. There's a lot of commitment there.
So Jock, you walk a little bit faster, you get it done quicker, yeah?
Yeah, but it still hurts. It doesn't make it any easier because you go a little bit faster. But yeah, I was out, or still am out 3 times a week, same as Terry. So it does take up a lot of your time. Unlike running, where it's over quicker for the same distance. And I remember in 2004 when I started, I tried the parish walk and I didn't get to the end. And then I thought I'll have to do some other races and because I did enjoy the sort of whole camaraderie of the event. And I said to Terry, right, I've joined a club. She says, well, that's fine, as long as it doesn't take over your life, which it sort of has done after a fashion. But it's been a good 10 years, but lots of great people through doing the walking.
You say about training, someone like Richard Gerrard, I found out that he actually really doesn't do very much training. He just goes out and does the walk. Is that right? Or
No.
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Well, I train with him 3 times a week usually.
Okay, there you go.
And he's a very fit fella. He does running as well. He used to, until fairly recently, played Veterans League football. No, I don't know where you got that information from. It's not quite on the nose, that one.
His office. So that's wrong there.
Does it help? You mentioned, running and doing other sports. Does that help when you set out to do the parish? Or, could it be a bit of a hindrance if you're used to running?
If you are used to running, then yes, definitely, because you do use different muscles in your legs for running as opposed to walking. But having said that, your general level of fitness will be higher than someone who just does walking alone. So any other sport, whether it's cycling, running, swimming, would help generally. But you have to also get the miles on the road on your feet walking to achieve your goal.
Now, Terry, you've got 2 children. The eldest is 20 now, but I wonder, in the past, did you always make them walk everywhere?
No. Nikki wouldn't walk anywhere. She even where she works now, if she can, she'll take the car, and it's like half a foot away from her front door. But no, Stephen does. Stephen walks. Stephen's a junior race walker, so it's a case of he's doing really, really well.
Now, we are going to be talking about the appeal of the event a little bit later, but we're now, about 18 hours or so away from the start. I wonder what you generally do, Jock, preparation-wise, the day before, apart from coming in to see us. Carb loading, that sort of thing?
Carb loading, yeah, taking it easy, chilling, generally. A day off work, last-minute shopping, last-minute packing of things to take tomorrow. Sorting your clothes out, what you're going to wear, what spares you're going to take with you, because it's the other man and it could do all sorts of different things weather-wise in the same day. So you have to prepare for most things. So the day before is just generally, chilling, last-minute things and just taking it easy.
I hope you don't mind me asking this. Footballers told to abstain from certain activities before a big game. Do the same rules apply?
I must have missed that memo. I don't know.
We'll talk more later. Jock and Terry Waddington, thank you very much for being our guests this afternoon. When Matt Creer was last on the show back in February, he was talking about his new appointment to the Arts Council and also telling us about his latest album. He is back this afternoon. Matt, how are things going?
Really good, yeah. Since I last spoke to you, the album got into the top 20 of the iTunes singer-songwriter chart. It's had some fantastic reviews from some fairly important folk music blogs, a few gigs in the UK in September as a result of that. So yeah, it's all going really well.
I wonder how you kind of just, settle down and don't expect any more reaction to the album in some ways. It's kind of just, it's all calm. You're walking towards the next one now?
I never really stopped writing. I've got a few projects in the pipeline which are a little bit different. Whether they'll come off or not, I'm not entirely sure yet.
Can you tell us anything?
No, I can't yet. But if it all goes well, I'll come back and tell you all about it.
And you've got a gig at the Centenary Centre coming up that you...
27th, I'm opening for Anzo Lorenzo.
Say it quickly.
I didn't say it quick enough, did I? He's a fantastic Spanish folk musician, really, really impressive player. But I'll be doing a set there as well, so I'm looking forward to that.
Well, Matt, as I said in the introduction, we realised we haven't had any live music on Women's Day so far, so we wondered whether you would rectify that for us this afternoon.
Well, I just so happened to have my guitar in the car. I wasn't threatened on Facebook to be sent home to get it or anything like that. So yeah, it was an honour to be the first live musician that you've had on here.
Okay, well, would you like to tell us what you're going to sing for us?
I'm going to sing Flesh and Bone, which is the 3rd track on the new record. I won't say any more than that. I'll just let get on with it. Find me the courage to do this alone. You show me we're more than flesh and bone, and the sun never sets in your sky, just burns out so bright like the fire in your eyes.
And time has never been on your side, just rips through the night till there's nowhere to hide. Don't leave here. Don't leave here. Find me the answers and tell me the truth. 'Cause I don't remember time without you. There's a space where it used to feel right. There's nobody here who can save me tonight. As I stand on a cold empty stage, and there's nobody there who can hear what I sing. Don't leave here. Don't leave here. Don't leave with a song that's half sung when there's so much we've done that I can't do alone. Don't leave here. Don't leave here. There's a space where it used to feel right, and there's nobody here who can save me tonight. And I know that you'll always be here in every song that I sing, and every word that is clear. Don't leave here. Don't leave.
Oh, and this week we also talked about swearing. But until tomorrow, we're ing off. Goodbye. Thanks as always to our amazing guests. And as ever, it's never too late for you to get involved. Head over to Facebook, find the Women Today Facebook page, and you can comment there, or you can follow us at MR Women Today on Twitter. And you can listen again to the full programmes on manxradio.com, or join us every weekday live from just after 2 o'clock.
Women Today, brought to you by citywing.com for your next flight away.